This story is not a legend, nor an urban myth. It happened in 1978, in a quiet rural town in Pennsylvania. A family of 4 moved into an old farmhouse, unaware of the dark history hidden within its walls. From the first night, strange things began to occur. Doors creaked open without reason. Whispers echoed in the hallways even though no one was there. At first, they dismissed it as imagination, an old house settling. But soon, denial became impossible. The youngest daughter, Emily, began waking up screaming at precisely 3:15 a.m. every night. She said a shadow stood in her room watching her. Her parents checked but found nothing. Still, the fear in her eyes was undeniable. What the family didn't know yet was that they were not the first tenants to experience these horrors. The farmhouse carried a chilling past, one soaked in tragedy, blood, and silence. Within weeks, the family noticed cold spots around the house. The kitchen, even during summer, felt like a freezer. Lights flickered without cause. Objects moved from one place to another when no one was around. One day, the father, Mark, decided to clean the basement. Hidden behind old wooden planks, he discovered something disturbing: a diary. The cover was torn, the pages stained, but one thing was clear. It belonged to a woman named Anna, who lived there decades before. The diary revealed chilling confessions. Anna wrote about her husband's violent outbursts, her fear of being trapped in the farmhouse, and the voices she claimed haunted her at night. She mentioned seeing figures standing at the edge of her bed. Her last entry was unfinished, the words trailing off mid-sentence. "They are here. They will not let me leave." No one in town ever spoke of Anna. No records of her death were found. It was as if she vanished from history. After the discovery of the diary, events in the house intensified. Emily's nightmares grew worse. She claimed Anna's ghost stood in her room begging for help. But what terrified her most was that something else, a dark figure, stood behind Anna, watching silently. At night, heavy footsteps echoed through the halls. The sound of dragging chains scraped across the floors. The family dog barked endlessly at the basement door, refusing to go near it. Mark's wife, Sarah, started experiencing sleep paralysis. She described waking up in bed, unable to move, with a shadow figure pressing down on her chest. Its face was a blur, but its presence was suffocating. The family began to realize they were not dealing with one ghost. The farmhouse was a prison for multiple spirits, some victims, and some far more sinister. Desperate for answers, Sarah went to the town library. After hours of digging through old newspapers, she uncovered a horrifying truth. The farmhouse once belonged to the Holloway family in the late 1800s. The Holloways were rumored to practice dark rituals, sacrificing animals and possibly humans in the basement. Several townspeople had mysteriously disappeared during that era, but nothing was ever proven. Whispers of witchcraft and curses surrounded the family, until one night, a fire consumed the farmhouse. The Holloways were presumed dead, but their bodies were never found. The farmhouse was rebuilt on the same land decades later, and with it, the curse returned. Emily's behavior began to change. The once cheerful little girl became withdrawn and violent. She spoke in a voice that wasn't her own, deep, guttural, chilling. At night, she scribbled strange symbols on the walls, the same ones Sarah had seen in old town records about the Holloways. One night, Mark found Emily sitting in the basement staring at the diary. Her eyes were rolled back, her voice repeating over and over, "They never left. They never left." Objects flew across the room, shattering into pieces. The family fled the basement, terrified, but Emily stayed behind, as if rooted to the spot. They knew they needed help. But who would believe them? Mark reached out to the local church. Father Thomas, an experienced priest, agreed to visit the farmhouse. The moment he stepped inside, he felt it, the overwhelming heaviness, the stench of sulfur in the air. That night, he began the exorcism. Emily screamed with inhuman strength, her body twisting unnaturally. Voices filled the room, multiple voices speaking in different languages, all at once. The priest demanded the spirits to leave, but they laughed, mocking him. The house shook violently, walls cracking, furniture toppling over. At one point, Emily levitated above the bed, her eyes pitch black. For hours, the battle raged on. Finally, just before dawn, the screams ceased. Emily collapsed, unconscious. The air grew still. The family thought it was over. But Father Thomas knew better. Evil like this never truly leaves. For a short time, peace returned. Emily slowly recovered, though she remembered nothing of the possession. The family tried to move on, avoiding discussions about what had happened. But strange signs remained. The basement door would creak open by itself. Cold drafts swept through the halls, shadows lingered in corners of their vision. One night, Sarah woke to the sound of whispering. She turned, expecting to see Emily, but instead, she saw Anna standing at the foot of her bed, tears streaming down her face. Before Sarah could react, Anna vanished into the darkness. The message was clear. Anna's spirit was still trapped. And so were others. The family eventually moved out, abandoning the farmhouse. It still stands today, rotting and decayed, hidden deep in the countryside. Locals avoid it, warning travelers never to go near. But some who dared to enter report hearing a child's laughter echoing in the halls. Others claim to see a woman in white standing by the windows, staring out with empty eyes. The most chilling detail? Every night at 3:15 a.m., lights flicker inside the abandoned farmhouse, though no electricity runs through it. To this day, the Holloway Farmhouse remains one of Pennsylvania's darkest unsolved mysteries. Was it truly haunted? Or did the evil of the Holloways live on through the land itself? One thing is certain. Not all houses are meant to be homes. Some are traps for the living.